Hey guys, so first time oil change on the Equinox. I talked to a mechanic and he said every 3,000 to 3,500 no matter what you're using because of it's such a small engine on a big vehicle. So the oil heats up and breaks down quicker than any other vehicle. So, and then somebody else suggested to get I haven't gotten it yet, but it's a breather tube for this. I mean a ventilated oil cap. So I got one of them, it's coming. Supposedly it's supposed to be to release any pressure inside that can blow out seals. Like your rear main seal apparently is a common one. So I got it took me like a half hour to get the oil filter. So the oil filter is down there. That's the top right there. It's one of those canister ones. So I undid the dipstick. Couldn't think of the name, sorry, dipstick. And then I'm draining the oil right now. So I have right there's the pan. It's one of those ones that turns into a container. As you can see, it's still draining out of there. I just did it like 2 minutes ago. So I had to buy extra tools for this stupid thing. So you do need, for one thing, they had my drain plug on like crazy, so I had to take my socket wrench, this is the 15 millimeter socket, and then I don't have too many tools, so I had to take this end and put it around the edge of this, and then pry on it this way to turn it. Finally got it though. I tried hitting it with that, tried hitting it with a few things, and it didn't work, so I had to pry on it. I was really hoping I didn't have another one of these right here. I was hoping, didn't do that again. So it's draining right now. I'm gonna try to get the filter out in a second, but I put it up on ramps. I got jack stands. I recommend jack stands as a backup. These ramps have been awesome, but one of them did break on the very end, like where the tire first touches it. I have an uneven driveway, so it broke it on one spot, but right now it's on snow, so it's not really trustworthy, but it works. So what you will need though is, here's the filter. It is a M1C151A. This is the Mobil 1 Extended Performance. I always use Mobil 1. There's the oil too. This is old stuff. You can see I've used it on other stuff, but this is new. And then that's got like 2 quarts in it. I think it takes 4 quarts. I gotta look again. And then, so this is the thing. I had to go out to AutoZone. I mean, you can go anywhere, but I had to buy tools. You need a 32 millimeter socket. And then here's the thing, is this one's a canister. You want to get a low profile because I could not turn it much with this thing. You want to get one that like is this wide at this end, and then it like tapers in, so it's smaller at the top, because it'll make it so much easier on you. It took me a long time. Then you need a swivel. Just remember to look at your drive, whatever drive you're using, because I didn't, and I don't have a socket. I don't have a ratchet wrench for that size. But either way, you'll need a swivel. You'll need a 3-inch extension. And you will also need a 10 or 12-inch extension. So there it is. And then I have a breaker bar, which is the only thing I had for a ratchet, so I had to use that. But it didn't work. I mean, it works, but it didn't work that great because of this being wider at the top. So you want to get a smaller one. Other than that, it would have worked. I have limited tools, so I have wrenches and stuff. I don't have like too much stuff. I tried using alligator pliers for the rest of it to try to just turn it, which it was a pain. Here's the thing you got to do. You have to stick it in here, and you have to have it like spread out. I'm not going to do it. We have to have this part spread out, so it's down here instead. And you have to put it in that hole, grab it, turn it. So you have very limited space. So then you have to take the handle and stick it down in here like this, around this stupid wiring harness down there. See how my handle is around it? And then you have to it's actually easier to grab that way. Just watch when you're pulling, because you don't want to pull the wiring harness out of stuff. But it's actually easier to do it that way. Or if you have smaller alligator pliers, then it might help. But so there's that. And then the oil's draining. So now I'm gonna try to get the filter. Hopefully, I don't know how messy this is gonna be. I got some shop towels that I wipe my hands off on, but I don't know how messy this is gonna be. I can reach I actually have it loose enough to get my hand in there now. So it unscrews, and hopefully it's not gonna leak everywhere. These freaking vehicles, with all their new ways of having oil filters and all that crap. It's so stupid. And here's the other thing too. If you can see in there, see that metal piece right there? Right there? That's what blocks the socket from pulling this out. It's right above it. I mean, it's back a bit, but it's still going to keep you from, like, you can't pull this filter straight up without hitting that. So you have to angle it out. So, now that I have it loose, I'm going to pull it out. Hopefully the filter's attached to it. Sounds like it is. God, this is not, God, you really got to angle that. And pull it out and put it on there. That's what it looks like. Stupid little canister thing. So there's that. I'm gonna put this down in the snow actually. Yes, it's snowing. Today's the warmest day of the week, actually 2 weeks. And because that mechanic recommended doing it, I just got this thing a month ago and I have not changed the oil on it. So I did, what do you call it? I've put like 500 miles on it. The oil life sensor is like 30 something %, which you don't go by that. That's mostly like a fail safe. So I got a new filter. Let me go get that. I recommend wearing gloves, especially high impact ones, which I was wearing when I did my transmission fluid on my van, and I took it off because it got oily, and I did that. So I'm not wearing gloves right now though, but I'm trying to get this done in a hurry because it's like 4:30 and I'm trying to get this done. So this filter, I'm going to put this down for a second, see if I can maybe angle it. Maybe not. So it just pops straight out. So there we go, pops straight out. Oh, sorry, I'm holding the button. But it pops straight out. That has those little clips, and then these clips right here. That goes in. So I'll put this down real quick. That. There we go. And then this goes in. So you just pop it in. Doesn't matter which way. It just clips in. So there. Now it's. Oh no, it's not in. Oh, come on. Really? Okay, so it's not clipping. Let me put this down. Maybe it doesn't actually clip. Maybe that's it. Maybe it doesn't actually clip because it's not grabbing. Grab that side. Well, no. It doesn't look like that either. I don't know what's going on. It just doesn't. So we'll see what happens when I tighten it. Alright, so I don't know if that flipped over or not. Hopefully it did. Looks like it did. So I'm going to put the filter assembly in there. Hope it doesn't fall out while I'm trying to get it in. This is such a stupid design. It's so dumb. They shouldn't make it this hard to do your oil change at all, ever. This is so dumb. Okay, so I think I got it. I think. We'll see. With my luck, I'll get it like all the way down there and it won't want to. See how? Yeah, there's still a good gap there. So it's probably, yep, it's probably being stupid. Okay, I'm going to pause this. I'll be right back. Alright, so this is kind of what it looks like when you're tightening it. You got the stupid, you just have to turn it. And it works, but it's dumb. Sorry. Now it's getting snug. So I'm going to put this down for a second just to make sure everything's snug. Alright, so just a suggestion. Don't have any kids out here when you're doing this because they'll learn some new words. So anyway, it's make sure that thing, don't tighten it like crazy, but make sure it's tight because, I mean not tight, but make sure it's secure because I thought it was good and then I put the phone down and I did a few more things just to try to get the angle right, and I ended up turning it like a whole nother turn without much force. So now it's flush. I can feel it with my finger. It's flush. So there's that. It's just a pain. You'll get oil everywhere, not everywhere, but you'll get it on stuff. I got some on right down there, so a few drips. But so now I'm gonna pull the pan out. I'm gonna put the fan plug back in. Roll under the cover. Now it's almost done. The nice thing is like with other vehicles, I don't put, I do the drain plug first, and then I do the filter. I'll put the plug back in like this, and then I'll do the filter, and it releases more pressure. Like, I mean, people do they'll do both at the same time, but my pan's not big enough for most vehicles to do that. So there's that, and then I gotta flip my socket over, move that a little bit, and then you just want to do it like, oh, I'm doing the wrong way. You just want to do, now it just hit tight, so I just do a little tug. That's it. It'll still drip from there just because that's where the, it was like already dripping. And then it's a little, just make sure it's, no, don't over tighten it because you can strip that and it's not fun. I've never had to do it, but I know it's not fun. So there it is. I'll wipe off that drip. And then pull this out of here. All right, let me sit up first. And there we go. There's the oil. I'm gonna put the filter. I always put the filter on it, on here, to help, you know, whatever comes out of the filter can drain on there. Okay, I'm gonna pause this again. I'll be right back. All right, so then you go in here. There's an oil with filter. This is a 2.4 liter. It takes 5 quarts. If you have the 3.6 liter, it takes 6. So I have the 2.4, so it's 5 quarts. All right, so then pour it in to the funnel, and there we go. This container has 2 quarts in it. So I will spare you the fill up process, but that's what you do. All right, and then what I like to do is I filled it up with 5 quarts. I like to let it sit for a little bit. Not much, not a long time, just a little bit. And then I put the dipstick back in. And then I'll be right back with the towel. All right, so you pull the dipstick out once it's, like, you put it all the way in and you pull it out, and it's supposed to be within those crosshairs. I have already wiped it off, but it is within those crosshairs, and that means it's full. So just put it back in. Make sure you put it all the way down too. Don't like make sure when you're checking it, you put it all the way down where it snaps, and then you pull it back out because you don't want to get a false reading. All right, and then what I do, sorry about all the, my garage door, my garage is old, so the door doesn't actually hit the bottom, so I got leaves and crap in here from that corner. So anyway, what I do is I put the funnel that I use into an old jug that has old oil in it, so that way any oil that comes out of here is just dripping into an old container. It doesn't matter if it's open to the air. So that's what I do. Then that way, next time I use it, it's good. I mean, some people wipe them out and stuff, but that's, I mean, unless you have something big in there, check it before you use it. Make sure there's no like spider in there or something. That's gonna cloud up your filter pretty quick. So, but that's what I do. And then I just have my reservoir there. And what I normally do is when that's full enough, so the next oil change I do on whatever vehicle, I will dump this out into another container. And then I'll just, I have a whole bunch of containers over here that are full of oil. I have to take them in. And these are full of oil. So that's a lot of oil changes, but so anyway, I'll come back out here and make sure you put your oil cap somewhere that you are going to remember it. So I put mine on top of here. You can put it somewhere. Some people recommend the latch, but the thing is with that is if you put it there and you close your hood, you can mess up. You can break this, and you can also mess up your latch. So put it somewhere. You can put it beside it somewhere, in front of it. Heck, even put it next to your tools that you need. Honestly, I can't really recommend the place, but just put it somewhere that you'll see it. I have forgotten them too, but if you put them somewhere that they're going to break like that, then you're definitely going to mess something up. But then at the same time, if you don't put the cap in there, you can lose oil. So make sure that you get a oil that is Dexos approved, and then it's 530. I have not used any of the the zero anything, where it's like 0W20 or 0W30. I have not used any of those, so make sure that's on there tight. That's tight. My plug is tight. Just go and verify. So plug is tight, filter's on there tight, that's tight. And then so what I do is let it sit for a little bit, and then I have to grab my keys. I put my keys I just let them sit somewhere. My garage is messy, so I just let them sit somewhere so I don't accidentally roll over on them or something. And then what I do is I always go in, always hit my feet off. Hopefully I don't have anything on my back. So what I do is I start it. And then I go back out, make sure nothing's spitting out from anywhere. The cap is good. Filter's good. And down bottom. It's not dripping out. So that means everything's sealed well. And then it'll be a little loud at first, but because the oil has to go through. I usually use, I'll go back in the car. I usually use the Lucas oil stabilizer, but with this car having to do it every 3,500 miles, that's a waste of money, honestly. I do that for, especially for the Hemi, the Challenger, because the Hemis have an issue with if they idle too long, the oil pressure isn't high enough to get them up to the top of the camshaft or something like that. I forget what it is, but it'll wear out the lobes on the cam, and then you have to get a new engine, or so not new engine, sorry, you have to get all that replaced. So I just let it sit for a bit, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the jack stands and take them out from underneath the car and back it off. Okay, so my phone shut off on me when I was doing the video. I still have a low battery, but it's charging right now. So what you do is I just changed the oil. So you go into this menu, and then you go into remaining oil life, and you have to hit, I think you have to do this while the vehicle is on, not running, but on. And then you hold the select button right here, select clear. And, oh, you don't hold it. Okay, are you sure you want to reset? You hit the up arrow, and that puts it to yes, and then you hit set. So now it's 100%. So everything's good. And then the other thing I'm going to do is, my tire pressure is low too. I got to do that front. I got to do the front driver side at some point a little bit. So that's all it shows you for that. And then what I am going to do is, that is the trip since I bought it. What I'm going to do is trip 1. So I'm going to clear that right there, and that is my oil change number. And then also what I do is I write it down on my phone, the date and the mileage. So I have there's an app. they're not sponsoring me, but I've had them for a while. It's a checklist app, just pretty much any checklist or even a notepad. Actually, mostly I use a notepad. I use a checklist too for bills, but for the notepad, you can do like different notes and stuff and save them. And I just do, the date and time, or the date and how many miles were on my car when I did the oil change. So that's another verification. So say if my battery went dead, that trip odometer that I just reset wouldn't be saved. So I at least have it on my phone, how many miles were on it. So I'm going to write down what was on there, but that's all you do. That's how you do an oil change on this. It is a pain. If you have the right tools, it probably wouldn't be, but even with the way that you have to have those extensions and stuff to loosen up the oil filter, it is a pain. If you have the right tools for it, which if you have another vehicle that has that type of filter, then you'll probably be okay. But the problem with mine was my 3 other ones have the traditional where you screw on the filter, like you screw it off and screw it on. It's just a metal filter, like the old style. They're all like that. So this one was a new experience for me. I've never done it before. I watched a video on YouTube of it, so I figured I'd make another one since I didn't see too many of them. So hopefully this helps some of you guys. It was definitely a pain, but it took me, I'd say, a little over an hour with not really, because I had the wrong tools and stuff. So it took me almost an hour. Usually it takes me like 20 minutes to a half hour to do an oil change per car. So I don't do it fast. I take my time. And I'm also usually meticulous. What I do is, for this one, I started it up and I let it run and I got out and checked. Usually what I do is I start the engine, I get out and check, make sure everything's good. I get out and I rev the engine to about 2,000 RPMs, and I hold it there for like 5 seconds. I do that after it's already been running for like 30 seconds or a minute, and I hold it for 2,000. So I hold it up to there, and then I'll hold it up to like 2,500, and then 3, just for like 5 seconds a piece. If you want to, you can start out with 3, but I'd start out with 2. If you hear any weird noises, don't continue. If it sounds fine, go to 2,500. If that sounds fine, go to 3,000, and then let off the gas, get back out, and check it. Make sure there's no, because what that does is that creates higher pressure, higher oil pressure in your engine, so that makes it so more leaks would show. So you get out and check again. And then what I usually do after that is I drive it around the block and park in my driveway, let it run, get out and check again, just because it will have all that time to run through and everything, and it heats up a little bit more and everything like that. And then what I do also is after that time, I let it sit overnight usually, and then in the morning before I go anywhere, I check the oil again to make sure the level is good. If the level's not good, you fill it up a little bit more, and then you should be fine. If it's good, then you're good. It's fine. But sometimes the filter canister, like it takes up more oil, so the pan doesn't have as much when it's sitting. So it just depends. This one looked like the filter was pretty dry once I stopped driving, so it looks like it goes through that area, but once you shut it off, it drains out. I could be wrong, I'm not sure, but that's what it looked like. It wasn't full of oil, and the filter wasn't really that wet. But I recommend getting a good oil filter for any vehicle. I avoid Fram. Fram has some crappy filters, especially the orange one. It's junk. The other ones, I think the Tough Guard, I can't remember what their names are, but some of them seem like they're okay, but they have cardboard in them and stuff. I just go with a good brand like Mobil One. You can go with Wix, Mopar, AC Delco, whatever it is that for your car. Wix usually makes the ones like the Mopar and the AC Delco. It's usually Wix. It's Wix. There's only like 3 or 4 actual oil filter companies that make filters. So they just put different names on them. Same thing with batteries. They slap different names on them, but there's only like 4 or 5 different names, or different brands, I should say. So that's it for my video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I appreciate any liking and subscribing. And I thank you for watching.